Hey, welcome to my channel, Tony's LPs Are Us. I'm Tony. We're in Studio E because we have the Elvis light is lit, so that means we're actually taping this for broadcast. I'll broadcast it in probably half hour after we finish it. It's not a big deal. This is just a little video to show you what I picked up at a thrift shop yesterday afternoon, and I was quite happy. I was kind of shocked. I found some things I've never seen before. I found some things as a collector, I would buy again, and I'll talk about that. But what was interesting, I had originally didn't plan to go to this thrift shop because it's kind of far from my house. But I was going to a theater to see this movie, Gladiator 2, and I picked up a couple of these posters. Gladiator 2, right? And this is Paul Mescal. He's the protagonist and star of the movie. Also stars Denzel Washington and Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal is great in anything he does. He actually plays in the Mandalorian series on Disney. Does a lot of great things. He's a great actor. Does commercials for Corona beer, but really a versatile actor. And of course, the great Denzel Washington, who I admire, is a great actor. I love most of his films. So I was going to see that. So I stopped at this thrift shop, and time was tight. I didn't have a lot of time. The movie started at 4:30. I wanted to go see the movie in the evening. I'm not one of those guys to go see a movie in the daytime. It's almost like when I listen to records. I listen to records at nighttime. I think I did a whole video on records that you should hear at night. The night opens up your senses, I believe, and I just, normally I never went to the movies in the daytime. I was always working and things. Today I could go in the daytime, could go see a matinee, but 4:30, come out, it's dark, it's almost nighttime, 4:30 evening. So anyway, I was kind of rushed for time. I wanted to get in there because I passed the movie theater and I saw that the parking lot was pretty full. In hindsight, I realized that was full because of Wicked, not because of Gladiator 2. So first off, I went through went to this thrift shop, walked in. I know where the records are, and they sell records for 49 cents. This is a thrift shop that is kind of out of whack with society. 49 cents for records, and it depends on what's dropped there. 49 cents could be a Meet the Beatles original. 49 cents could be a Ray Conniff and his orchestra or a Guy Lombardo. So there's no distinction. And normally I go there, I was kind of disappointed. I was so disappointed in finding thrift shop records that I was going to do a whole video on why I'm going to switch over to CDs, because thrift shops where I go have tons of CDs and they're $1, and the CDs are $1 versus the record that would be $15 or $20 at Target. They're the reissues. The CDs span all genres, and you can find stuff for $1. If you want Deep Purple, you may find it Deep Purple. I always find Beatles and Stones, and I pick those up. But I was almost going to kiss off trying to find records at thrift shops. So anyway, time was limited, but I'm going to show you what I bought in a minute. But I want to tell you about Gladiator. So I was a big fan of the first Gladiator. I think it came out in 2000. This is a new production. It's kind of a sequel. It's Gladiator 2. It's a sequel to Gladiator 1. I don't even remember Gladiator 1. And as you know, when I do a review on a record, I don't really watch other reviews. I may know the record because it's a reissue, but I don't listen to the new reviews, regarding the reissue. And I didn't watch any reviews or any trailers of Gladiator. I just kind of seen a few bits and pieces. I knew it was considered an epic. I think the box office to today is about $340 million. It cost between $210 million and $300 million, so it's breaking even just about, but it will definitely make money because of the star power of Washington, Ridley Scott, who directed the first one. And the first one I thought was great. This one, I give it a thumbs down. I'm not going to go into details, no spoiler alert. If you want a spoiler alert, just look at the trailer. I watched the trailer last night after I got back, and I looked up some reviews, and a lot of reviews basically thought what I thought. It was overblown. It was convoluted. The plot was hard to follow. Plus, you got all these Roman names and stuff like that. The epic battle scene in the beginning was really cool. I dug that. But the CGI, the computer graphics were almost over the top. A lot of things were not plausible. And the action was too swift. It almost, it definitely didn't look real. It wasn't real, but I'm saying it didn't have a good pace to it. There was no drama. The characters weren't fleshed out. Denzel Washington basically played a bad guy, similar to what he did in Training Day. He was excellent. Pedro was excellent. Paul was excellent. But I don't think Paul and Pedro even have the body type to be a successful gladiator in this Coliseum arena setting, because some of the folks that they fought were huge muscle men in the realm of like Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno, or just massive muscle men, massive men. But it's movies, and a little guy with a weapon that could wield it is the winner. So I thought it was kind of over the top. I didn't like it. I think TV shows today are better because they could flesh out the characters. Now, just to give you, for instance, I went to see the night before at a special showing, a 50th anniversary showing of this 1974 Towering Inferno, which is starring Paul Newman, Steve McQueen, Faye Dunaway, Bill Holden, Robert Wagner, Fred Astaire, on and on. And that movie was 50 years old, and I enjoyed that thoroughly. I haven't seen it on a big screen. I may have not seen it on a big screen 50 years ago. I don't remember. I know seeing it on television. But that was 100 times better than Gladiator. And that movie didn't cost 200 or 300 million to make. Back in the day, it was expensive, but there was no computers. There was no CGF. And the acting, Paul Newman, Faye Dunaway, Steve McQueen, just a perfect movie. So if you get a chance and you can see Towering Inferno at a theater, because might be a revival, it's 50 years, go see that. Gladiator, if you wait until it comes on HBO or streaming and you have a nice home theater, you're just as good. But that's Gladiator, and that's my review. So anyway, the reason I'm saying this is because I was in a hurry, and I walked into this thrift shop, and I saw, first record I saw was this one. Now, I'm a big Bond fan, right? This is a stereo copy, and I think there's nothing wrong with this record. I didn't play these. I looked at them. I always clean all the records. I get that smelly, musty smell. I use wipes, and then I clean them because they're laminated. If it's a flat surface like a Eagles record, don't bother. But this was number one, so I said, "Whoa, this is cool." And these were all in a box. This has the original inner, and the inner matches this inner because there's a bullet hole there. They shot at Mr. Bond, and there's also a bullet hole right here. So one went right through, didn't hit the record, so we're good. So that was number one. So I bought about 14 records, and I think the girl only charged me for 12. And here's the receipt. If you don't, I always see things on Facebook. I just picked up the Rolling Stones 4x4, or Beatles Sgt. Pepper mono UK for $2, but I don't know if that's true. But here's the receipt. You can see they're all 49 cents or so. So I couldn't resist. I got this, which I already have. This is cool. This is VG Plus to Excellent. It has a original inner, I believe, because I switched it already. There's the original inner. This isn't a great album, but it's funky. And that's his wife or his girlfriend and his son. And it's a shame what happened to Sly. We hope Sly recovers. Now, this was a great find. This is, this is like a $20, $30 record, I think. This one. Carpenter's Christmas. Carpenter's Christmas, at least excellent to VG plus to excellent. Doesn't look marked at all. This was a collection of Christmas and some soundtracks. Some of these I've never seen. As you can see, the Connery, Thunderball, but some of them I've never seen. I've seen all of these thus far. This one's a great one. This is an original, 1962, Liberty. This is great. Christmas, right? This I picked up because I just like the cover, and it has on it an array of stars. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the original, Gene Autry. It has a Jerry Vale, the Christmas song. Mahalia Jackson, Gospel, What Child Is This? Burl Ives, Jingle Bell. So Burl Ives is very desirable. His album, Burl Ives, one of Burl Ives' Christmas albums, is a very expensive album. So I'll just show you the label on this. Most of them they all had inners and special products, 2i special products. This one I've never seen. I was thrilled. The record is probably VG, but look at this. Talk about Gladiator, right? So it was funny. I was going to the theater and I found a horde of, soundtracks, basically. Look at that. Never seen this before. Kirk Douglas, Tony Curtis, Ernest Borgnine, and Janet Leigh. And there's the record. This has to be 50s. I'm not sure when the Vikings was released. I didn't. But the record is VG. I haven't played it yet, but beautiful. Never saw this. This is a throwback, kids, to another time when you went to a movie, you loved the movie. You may have, if you were lucky enough, your parents bought you a program, or they were giving out a little snippet of information on the film, or you got a poster, but there was nothing you could get. There was no videos, or no laser discs or selective vision discs. All you had was the record, okay? So, but look at that. Kirk Douglas, United Artists in Technicolor, magnificent Technicolor. So that was a real find. This was cool. I think I have this already. This is an RCA Camden, which is the subsidiary of the regular RCA. But this is, again, this was a person who collected movies, I believe, in a way, because this is Elvis sings hits from his movies. This has Big Boss Man. That was from the special. Long-Legged Girl, Frankie and Johnny, which was a great movie. Guitar Man, Old MacDonald. They remind me too much of you. Down by the Riverside, Saints Go Marching In. So it's pretty clean. It's a blue Dynaflex. Should sound good. This one I picked up. I think I have it already. I'll give it to a friend. But I just read a book on Richard Burton. I'm a movie buff as well. I read a book on Richard Burton. And Richard Burton's return to Broadway. I think he revised his first tour of Broadway. But when John F. Kennedy in 1963, I believe, talked about the play Camelot, the Broadway show got a huge boost. And it went on to mythical, standings. That was because of Kennedy. And if you remember, the Kennedy administration was later called, or that whole Kennedy family thing was called Camelot. So, and this is a really, really nice high gloss jacket, similar to what, like Chad is doing now, or MoFi is doing now. Really nice. This is a stereo, and it's Columbia Masterworks. I believe this is stereo. Could be. I believe this is mono. So this is going to sound good. Here's the spine, because it's available in stereo. Here's a nice one. I had this, but I figured I'd pick it up, maybe give it as a Christmas present. This was one I've never seen, and I didn't have time, so that's what I'm getting at. I didn't have a lot of time. I pulled out these records. I looked at them to see if they were scratched or beat up, and the ones I picked up were VG plus to excellent, so I got lucky there. But this one I've never seen. Didn't even know it. My Baby Loves Lovin', White Plains. Didn't know the name. I saw it was on Durham, London, Durham stereo. So I didn't even look it up. I just looked at the record. The record was probably in excellent condition. There's the label. I didn't clean it yet, so you can see that. So My Baby Loves Lovin'. Didn't look it up. Didn't know it. I knew this was something I would want, just based on the pedigree here, the time, the company, and since for 50 cents. And when I got home, I was pleasantly surprised because My Baby Loves Lovin' is a top pop hit, and I don't have this. This one I have, but I picked it up because it's clean. If you know these Disney records, they're really desirable, but they're not always clean. Children's records. This just has a paper tear there. This one I picked up because it has everybody. Bing, Nat, and Dean. Dean Martin does White Christmas, which is excellent. Nat King Cole does Holy Night. Bing does I Wish You a Merry Christmas. This is a collector's special products, I believe, from Capitol. See that, but so it's a Christmas collection and the soundtracks, which I showed you. Now this one I don't think I have. I think I have a 12-inch from this album. This is the Four Seasons. What's it called? Heligon? Yeah, Heligon, I guess. And here's the Warner. This is near mint. So I'm real happy to have this. Going to turn this on. Love the Four Seasons. Frankie Valli is probably 100 years old. He is still touring. So gives us all stuff to look forward to, right? There's the record. This is a gatefold. And I don't know, there's songs on here. If We Should Ever Lose Our Love, Rhapsody, Helicon as the main title track. But, I Believe in You. But I think I have one of these songs on a 12-inch disco. This came out, can't see a date here. Probably 80s, I would say. Hold 1 second, we will check. Oh no, 77. So right around the time of Grease, right? And then the final one is another TV soundtrack, which I don't have. All in the Family, the second record, the second album. I have the first album. This has dialogue from the record. They may sing on this, maybe the theme song, but it has breasts. These are sections. Hog Jowls, The Man in the Street, Sammy's Visit. That's a classic, All in the Family. When Sammy Davis visited the bunkers, because I believe Archie was moonlighting as a cab driver or a taxi driver, and Sammy was in his car, left his briefcase, and he ended up coming to the house to pick it up. That's a classic. If you know anything about All in the Family, I suggest you watch it. It's ahead of its time. It's controversial, but we laugh at things we can't laugh about now. It's that's the way things are, right? Archie Meets Mike, Archie and Maude, Archie in Jail, The Elevator, Change of Life. I think that has to do with Edith Bunker. So this is from 71 to 72. It's an Atlantic record. And that's how popular they were to actually have a soundtrack, because like I said, no one had video recorders. The videos weren't available. This has an original inner. And I like to count off what records I have on here. So If you can see these records on here. It's easier for me to say what I don't have. And what I don't have is JoJo Gunn. I don't have that Dr. John. But I have everything else on this side. And what on this side, I don't remember that David Crosby. And I may not have Black Oak, Arkansas. So I have everything else. That's where I was at that time. So I got lucky. I was going to get rid of the thrift shop because I got disappointed. This thrift shop, last couple times I've been there, I scored a couple records. Like I said before on my thrift shop videos, I'm happy if I could find 1 or 2 records at a thrift store. That's all I ask for at a decent price. Now you go to thrift shops, that Elvis record in any other thrift shop would have been behind the wall on glass with a security strip on it for $10. Forget about the Christmas records, especially that desirable Carpenters. Most thrift shops now have upped their prices to $3.99. There's still some that sell $1, but not too many of them are 49 cents. And like I said, the counter person who I guess liked the hat gave me, I think, a couple for she just counted down 12, right? So the whole thing was $6. $6. I just spent $400 last week on a box set and something else and Christmas presents. So not a bad haul, right? Pretty cool stuff. So thanks a lot. I want to thank everybody again. I didn't do that initially. Thanks for the subs. Thanks for the likes. If you like this video, if you want to see more thrift shop finds, I could always do that. I could go back and pull some other thrift shop finds that I find. Most of my records I find in, used record stores, flea markets, yard sales, thrift shops. So I got lucky, and it was only because I went to see a movie that I wish I would have waited. I didn't. It's 2 hours and 28 minutes. It drags. I think maybe that helped create less of an interest. Maybe it was too long. But then again, I go back to Inferno. Inferno, I didn't know when I got to it, was 2 hours and 40 minutes, and that was spectacular. That was just riveting. But then you had great actors and a great script and a great direction. Directed the action sequences were Irvin Allen, who did all the produced Lost in Space and Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea and all those great disaster films. And you might even catch me on CBS Good Morning on Sunday, because this is going to air today. So this Sunday, which whenever you first see this pop up, I don't know the date, but Sunday morning CBS, I was actually interviewed in the lobby about the movie, because it was they were having a special screening for CBS Good Morning out of New York City. There were fire trucks outside. It was a big event, but they actually interviewed me, and I was able to talk about what I thought about disaster movies and what I thought about this film. What I remembered about it, I didn't remember much, except for what I saw on television. So thanks a lot. Keep rocking. Appreciate the subs. Talk to you later. Ciao.